course he did.
With the maple leaf flag. Good pace. Are you serious? Oh my goodness! Glorious and free!
Gotta meet one of these two Europeans. It never looked like it was getting there. But it's there, it's right in the middle. Look at Ram and now it's over.
He's all the way back. Kepka conquers the PGA uphill.
Brilliant to the end. And on Seve's birthday, Spain reigns again at Augusta. And John Ram is the Masters champion.
Evening, Golf DFS fans. Welcome back to the Putting for Dough show. Fellas, I've missed you. Have you missed me?
It's been total chaos. It's been chaos without anybody to keep us in check, you know.
How many weeks? It's been 2 weeks, has it?
2-3 weeks, I've learned. Lots of ranting, you know.
Yeah, I've caught some of that. I have in my spare moments that I've had whilst the world hasn't been ending on my side. But no, I'm back. Nice to be back. Nice to be talking golf again with my two favourite golfing patriots. How are you both, first of all? And I guess we should talk about Pebble. Either way, I'm probably going to splutter my way through this because I've got a cold. So
fair enough. It's good. You were a questionable tag, weren't you? Anyway, this week, so that's good. So yeah, I had a terrible week. Hated it. Hated everything about it. Hated the fact there was no cut. Hated the fact there wasn't 4 rounds. It's just these no cut events are just. I think I might as well just play the lottery or something on these no cut events. I'm just. They're driving me spare, but thankfully got a few weeks of cut events ahead. So, yeah, Jack, the floor's yours.
Yeah, looks ranty. I like it.
It makes a change for someone else to have a rant other than me, but it's a little Mark rant there. I quite enjoyed that. Yeah, it was same as you, Mark. I hate non-cut events. I don't understand why they played the Pro Am. I don't understand why they didn't move that tournament forward a day or played 9 extra holes over Thursday, Friday, and then played 9 extra holes on Saturday to get that 4 rounds fully in. They knew the weather was coming in, and yeah, we got 54 holes of utter tripe. I thought Wyndham Clark was very. What's the word I'm looking for? I thought he was quite disrespectful with his comments that he come out with after, that saying that, you know, about his legacy and all of that. Let's get it straight, pal. Like, if you was offered 100 million, like you was after on Live, you would have gone. You wasn't offered the 100 million. And then you're saying about it being historic. It was great. You also shot 60. While it was good, and I will give him credit for that. It was good. You also shot 60 when it was lift, clean, and replace. So you got to lift your ball up every time it was in the fairway, and put it down again, and things like that. It's not, you know. And then he took shots at Neiman on Live, and look, I'm not an apologist for Live, and I'm not an apologist for the PGA Tour. There's bad things on both tours. The real winner was Live, funny enough, because of what happened. It was the real winner. People switched over. You still got the people on Twitter that just going on. I just think they hate Live just for the sake of it now. Like some of these people, there's just people on there just like, oh, there's 6 million. There's only 6,000 people, sorry, watching John Rahm hit his first tee shot on Friday on Live on YouTube. You do realise that Live is shown on multiple different platforms, not just YouTube. Just pathetic comments all round, and it's getting on my nerves both sides of it. And, we've had a bit of chat in our Discord. I think it was Danny who was going on about it. We said it last week. These two products are diluting each other now. The shots either side are doing my nutting. Like Wyndham Clark really, really annoyed me with these comments this week. I just don't. There was no need for it. And again, if he was offered the money, you're going. I hate non-cut events like you said, Mark. They knew the weather was coming. Move the tournament forward a day or play extra rounds over Thursday, Friday, and Saturday to get the 4 rounds in. Yeah, thankfully we've got about 4 or 5 tournaments coming up now where we got the cuts back, and there's some weaker fields which I'm going to quite probably enjoy them because a lot of them guys are actually playing for something, playing to get into some of these elevated events and things like that. So I'm going to enjoy them, and I enjoy the next couple of tournaments, especially. I like Phoenix and I like Riviera as well. So yeah, that's the Jack rant over. It's getting on my nerves. The back and forth now, really, like it's pathetic on both sides.
I agree. And the thing with Wyndham Clark is as well is, yeah, you won a major last year, but you're not a needle mover. You don't move the needle. So
There's a reason you didn't get offered 100 million.
yeah. In terms of no cut. I don't like no cut either. Is that the last of the course rotation for a while?
There's no more course rotation. We're done with that until next year. I can tell you now that the next 4 events are going to be cut events. A lot of people think that all the elevated events are non-cut. That's not the case. Tiger fought for a cut at his event. I know it's still only going to be an 80-man field next week, so it's going to be like the Masters where the cuts at like 55 or whatever. It's going to be like the Masters basically next week. But yeah, we've got 4 cut events coming up now until we get to API. Arnold Palmer is definitely a non-cut event. I know that. And then we'll go to the Players, which is a cut event again, and then we'll be running up to cut events right up till the RBC Heritage. So we've got quite a few cut events coming up now. We're not going to see that non-cut stuff, and it's crap. It really is crap.
Yeah, I agree. And Live that final day, I caught bits of it and bits of the playoff. Brilliant, and I watched Neiman shoot his 59. Like, I don't care. Like you said, Clark had a few swipes. Like, if you're shooting 59 on any course, that's so impressive. You shoot 59 on the course down the road from me, that's like it's superb, and that's a much shorter course than Mayakoba.
Like, Mayakoba is a hard golf course. Some of the fairways on that golf course last week were like 13 yards wide. They're not very wide fairways. Tree-lined golf course. It's a well-designed golf course, Mayakoba. Look, I'm not a Live apologist at all, and people have come at me on Twitter and say I'm not.
It's not like the rest of the field shot that either. Like, that was just like a standalone performance on the day. It's like he was like clear of everyone by like 6-7 shots. Like, crazy.
And if you don't think Joaquin Neiman deserves, if you don't think he should be in the majors, then you're just mad. The guy's 25 years old. He's a year older than Ludwig Aber. For me, he's a better golfer than Ludwig Aber right now. Aberg's very, very good, but Neiman is a world-class golfer for me, and I just, we need to get these guys back into the majors. It needs to come back together because, like I say, it's just getting on my nerves. I hate the back and forth, and I hate the swipes at each other.
Yeah. Before we move on, Rory with his penalty, Jack. I know that you revelled in that.
I didn't revel. No, I don't.
Don't lie. You revelled.
I don't like I don't like hypocrites, and he's very. Some of his comments over the years have been very hypocritical. Now, I will give him credit. He's probably learned from his mistakes and realised that he should have probably kept quiet, and he's changed his thoughts on certain things. So yeah, I wasn't reveling in that, and yeah, you brought me right back to it. Actually, now Wyndham Clark, you shot a 60. You also trod down the frigging rough around your
Yep.
golf ball. You cheated to your 60. Well done, pal. Fuck off. Sorry, I really, really annoyed me last week.
He won't be tuning in next week now.
No, it just annoys me. Like, well done. Just, just I just, it was impressive. It was very good 60. But let's not, it doesn't beat Neiman's. Neiman wasn't playing lift, clean, and replace. Like he wasn't playing any of that. Wyndham Clark was, and then he's also cheating to get an edge. And we've seen that 2 weeks on the trot now. When's the PGA Tour going to clamp down on that?
Yeah.
People cared more about the one 2 weeks ago than they did the one last week, didn't they?
Yeah.
Which is just weird. Just absolutely weird.
Jack, you had a big announcement, didn't you, this past week on the old Twitter? Tell us about that. Kept that quiet, didn't you, Mark? Eh?
Yeah, it's we should just be honoured that he's given us this time tonight, Nick, to talk at us.
Listen, you got me rolled up early on tonight. It's gonna be better for the rest of the show now. I've had my little rant. The rant's over with. But yeah, my tracker is now on Fantasy National Golf Club. It looks a lot more professional than my Google sheet. Let's say that right now.
I know. I love spreadsheets, mate. So I wouldn't. Yeah.
I think that was your answer, weren't it, Mark? Where when we first launched this and we did our golfer profiles, I'm sure your question was what's your favourite sheet, and yours was spread.
Yes.
But Mark has long been on at me for making this too cheap over the years, and
I've been proven right. The proof is literally in the pudding at the moment.
Yes, you were proven right, and I'm very excited. I listen to Pat's shows all the time, so I'm very excited that he liked it. Moose is a great guy who runs Fantasy National as well, so I'm very glad to be working with them both on this and keeping it going. Because there's multiple uses for it. It's not just for the fan team Bet365 game that we all use it for. People can use this for one and done. You can use it for season-long fantasy golf. You can use it for fantasy best ball golf, which I know a lot of the underdog. Obviously, we can't play that in the UK, but I know a lot of the underdog golf tournaments start at Phoenix this week, so people can use that. And
didn't they fill up 2 tournaments really quickly? And somebody said, "Where's one for DraftKings?" And we've had a debate about this in private and stuff. But yeah, they filled up 2 tournaments on Underdog.
Yeah, they did. So I'm really happy that they've taken a chance on it, and I'm really happy it's part of the Fantasy National Golf Club website now. And as I say, hard work's paid off at last.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is something that you once charged about the equivalent of a coffee at Starbucks.
It was a coffee. It was less than a coffee.
Well, let's not forget it was free the first year.
National.
Yeah, it was free. That's right. Yeah,
it was free the first year. The second year it got made up to £3.50, and then this year it went up to £7.50.
Coffee from the Subway to Fantasy National.
Yeah, but what I wanted to make sure was that everyone that had paid for it this year was looked after, and they have been. There's loads of information in the Discord. You know what to do. If you're in the Discord, you know exactly what's going on with this now. So my main goal was to make sure you was looked after, and I think I've succeeded in that.
Well done, Jack. Well done.
Yeah, well done, Jack.
We are proud.
Well deserved. We are. We're not going to say it publicly, though.
I tell you what, another thing, I'm going to give myself another pat on the back right here.
Oh, what a surprise.
The showdown, no. The showdown calls that I do for the Discord, I know we all use them, and some of our friends in there have been using them. Mr. David Bailey won about $200 on Showdown this week. So he had a very nice Showdown week there using my cause, and I'm very just keep. I'll give them away for free. You might as well just jump in there and have a go.
Yeah,
Indeed.
Right then, fellas. If there's no more, admin newsletter that out today, tomorrow, Jack. When's it coming?
Newsletter will be out probably about half an hour after the show ends tonight. I've just got a couple more bits and pieces to add to it, but it's nearly done.
Fair enough. I guess then we'll move on to this week. Waste Management Phoenix Open. Weather's not looking great, fellas.
No, it's very cold, lots of wind, lots of rain. I think it's going to be like that most of the week, except Sunday. I think Sunday's meant to be all right, but might have a potential wave stack over the first 2 days. I looked at it this morning. It looked like it was PM AM, and then I looked at it about 10 minutes ago, and it looked like it switched to AM PM. So there's 2 different ways we could go here. If you're building multiple lineups, say you're in the 20 max, I would probably advise doing 10 one way and then 10 the other way.
The AM PM from when I saw it earlier looks like the warmer golf and the sunnier golf of the two. The PM AM looks like they're going to be facing some pretty cold temperatures.
Yeah, that's right. It's going to be cold for Arizona. Put it that way.
Yeah. The course itself, Jack.
So we go to TPC Scottsdale. It's in Scottsdale, Arizona. So Jay Morris and Tom Westcott design. Westcott actually done a redesign on it in 2014. It's a par 71. It's 7,261 yards long. Water comes into play on 6 of the holes here. The fairways, the rough, and the greens are Bermuda, but they've got a load of this polar overseed on them. So especially the greens, they're like bent grass greens. Really, they're not pure Bermuda, but that's the information I got off the website there. The comp courses for this place for me would be TPC Summerlin, the Summit Club, and Concession. Historic winning score that I think we'll probably see around this week is 16 under par, and I think we're probably going to see a cut mark about 1 under par here. The front line's pretty forgettable, to be honest. This course doesn't really come alive until you get to the 13th hole, and then you'll face 2 par 5s. One of them features an island green. There's lots of water on the back 9 here. It's a typical feature of TPC golf courses. So you're gonna have to be pretty dialed in. And then of course you've got the famous par 3 16th, the one where they all go mental, and if there's a hole in one, all the beers come onto the green and things like that. It's the stadium. It's the signature hole of this golf course. The 17th is the ultimate risk reward drivable. It's a drivable par 4, but you've got loads of water on this again. It's actually the 17th reminds me of the 18th at the Players Championship, where you got all the water down the left. It's quite similar to that on the 17th hole here. And then the 18th, again, you've got a big bunker guarding all the way down the left from the tee to up to the green pretty much. And you've got loads of sort of undulation on the fairway and lots of rough around. So it's a tough hole. It's a tough finish, TPC Scottsdale. We won't have this week, but I put a little note in the newsletter that organisers don't water this course during the event, but we've had loads of rain if you've seen the videos already.
Yeah.
So obviously if they don't water the golf course and it's hot, like it normally is in this place, then the course essentially bakes out. But I don't think we're going to have that problem this week. But that's pretty much it. It's a pretty bland golf course really until you get to the 13th, like I say, and then it comes alive. This place. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's good event. This.
Yeah, course history seems like it plays quite an important part in this course, and what I mean by that is a lot of courses that golfers go to. There's whether they've played it or not historically doesn't really matter, but it seems like the golfers that have success here historically, it follows a very similar kind of trend where they have years and years of success here, made cut after top 20, after top 10. In terms of course history then, In terms of like kind of weight of importance, I know, Mark, that you don't do the modelling the same way, but is that kind of figuring into your thought process this week? And how important do you think it is as well for golfers that haven't played here before? That's something you're mindful of
Is that for me? Or what?
for either of you.
I quickly say that there's had first time winners here, haven't they, in the past? I think.
Yeah, Kepka was the first time in there.
Yeah. I knew somebody was. I'd heard about that. So, I think I'm quite unusual. I never look at course history with anything. Well, I mean, my personal view is if I ignore all of the sort of noise about course history and stuff, is many golfers are not the same golfer, say 2 years after they played a course. And stat models reflect what the course is, and therefore, if we're going to be a stat model based, that's how we play. Then your stat model will look at what works well in this course and what that golfer's doing right now. They've done something 2 years ago. To me, doesn't mean anything. But I know lots of people would disagree with that because a lot of people really think course history is very important.
Jack?
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at some course history here, and then a lot of the TPC golf courses. So I'm looking at TPC Bunny Ranch, which is where the Byron Nelson event that I despise is played at. Just golf, like the players. There's a lot of correlation between the players, and that Scotty's one of the players. Justin Thomas does well here normally at Scottsdale. He's a players champion. Ricky Fowler, another one, players champion as well. And then I'm also looking at, for some reason, there's a bit of a correlation with people that do well at US Opens, and they do well here as well. So it's another little thing to look at. So people like Harris English are probably worth a look at this week. And I know we're going to get on to players in a bit, but yeah, I am looking at a bit of course history and mainly just TPC golf courses because they're all very similar. Like I said, the 17th hole here reminds me of where TPC Sawgrass, where the players is played. The 17th hole here reminds me of the 18th hole at TPC Sawgrass. So there's very similar holes.
Yeah. We get that strokes gained approach is important, as it is almost every week when we play golf DFS. We get the tee to greens pretty important this week. This course does reward accuracy off the tee, and I'm sure people have read plenty of articles or listened to other shows that have been talking about how putting isn't all that important this week. It's not one of the recipes to success here when you look at past winners. So let's not talk about that anymore. Let's talk about some strategy, because you said in the chat earlier, Jack, that you might be fading the current holder of this event. Is that correct?
There's no might about it. I'm fading Scotty Scheffler in GPPs. I can't play someone that's going to be. I mean, he's going to be about 50% owned at least, like maybe more. Him and Justin Thomas are going to be so highly owned here.
The withdrawals haven't helped this ownership at the top. Like
no.
Yeah, and he would have been highly owned anyway. But now that you've got no Hovland and Schauffele, it's made matters worse, really.
Yeah, and just the way I play with the amount of lineups that I do, I'm going to take my chance. I'll just make a stand. I'm pretty good at this with golf. I will make a stand on something. Normally, I don't care about the ownership as much at the top because I find that these guys sort of condense each other. But we're not going to get that this week now because, like you say, we've had the withdrawal of Schauffele and the withdrawal of Hovland, which leaves two guys in the 10k range. Well, you got one guy in the 10k range and one guy in the 11k range. I've seen a lot of builds, a lot of people talking about going both of them, Scheffler and Thomas, because I think it leaves you on about 7,100, and then you can drop down. But I would just take my chances in GPPs. I'm that type of player. I'm not scared if it burns me, it burns me. I'm not. Look, Scheffler's he's the number one player in my model. There's no getting away from that. He's the number one player in my model. But I'll lock him in cash. And for GPPs, he's the easiest fade on the board for me. I mean, there's no point even talking about stats with him. Ranks number 1 in the field, strokes gained approach. Ranks number 1 strokes gained off the tee. Ranks second in the field, strokes gained total. Ranks 5th in the field, strokes gained around the green. Guess where he's pretty much dead last? There's 133 players in this field. And guess where Scotty Scheffler ranks in strokes gained putting over his last 36 rounds? 121st. Right, like this place is, we've seen people come here and just like, it doesn't matter if they're bad putters, like you said, Nick. Like, putting's not really something I'm looking at this week either, because I've seen bad putters come here and do well. But I just take my chance. That's the way I play it. I'm playing free max and things like that. He's the easiest fade. I would just fade him. If he burns me, he burns me. That's it. I just have to accept it. But I'm gonna fade him.
If you were playing 20 entries, Jack, would you fade him completely then?
Yeah, because I play quite aggressive in DFS compared to what others do. I'm quite an aggressive DFS player where I will make a stand, and that's my stand. Like I will play him in cash. All my double ups will have him in, most definitely. But this is what I said to you in the chat, Mark. If let's say he's 50% owned. I don't really know how I think he's going to be very highly owned, but let's say he's 50% owned. What happens if he misses the cut? How much are you up on the field then?
Yeah, completely. I agree with the concept. I think you go two ways. As I said to you already, you either do what Jack's doing of fading him, or you go the other way and go way over the 50% with him if you're doing multiple and lots of entries and stuff. Obviously, when we're talking about 50, you've got to be doing 20 entries. If you're doing 3 entries, then 50% doesn't mean anything. Yeah, I think you go one of two ways and stuff, personally. Interesting, the thing about the JT and him pairing, if you are going to play Scotty, I would definitely not pair him with JT.
I've just seen a lot of that talk. It's not me. Like,
no, I've heard it as well. Yeah. Also, look at the ownerships of them both. I mean, I would, if you've got a portfolio of 20 or more lineups, I would definitely have a Scotty lineups, JT lineups, and neither of them lineups, as it were. But I wouldn't put the two of them together.
I prefer JT out of the two of them. I think he's going to win. I said this last week, and I believe he would have won if they played the full round. Which that's another reason why it annoyed me. I bet him last week. If they'd played the full round, I think he would have won last week. I think he would have been the one who come from the back of the pack. Well, not back of the pack. I think he was like 3 or 4 shots behind. I think he would have been the one who come from behind to win last week. I think he's in great form, and he's my favourite up there in the top 2. If I'm going to play one of them, it'll be Justin Thomas. I haven't quite decided yet. I'm probably gonna, within the newsletter, obviously it's not out yet. I'm gonna pick 3 guys in the middle. I'm not even gonna pick anyone up top. I'm gonna pick 3 guys in the middle, and then you can build how you want them.
Yeah, I think with Thomas, like when he went through that bad spell last year where he was missing cuts and never really in contention in some of the events, even where he made cut. Like the Players Championship, for example. I know the weather was bad, but I've just picked that out just from the list of things that I'm looking at. He practically finished last.
He came fourth here last year, though.
Yeah, he did. But the difference in his game of late is he has found a bit more consistency with his putter. But even like last week at Pebble, where he lost strokes with a putter, the rest of his game's so good at the moment that he still finished tied 6th. And I think he can afford not to be that good with the putter this week if he plays the golf he has done recently, where he's had a string of top 5, top 10s, dating back to I mean, just certainly from like this year, he's not had any kind of issues. Yeah, I think Thomas, I like the discount that you get on him. I'm with you though, Matt. I'm kind of like, part of me's thinking, yeah, just play Scheffler cash. Part of me's thinking, do you know what? He's going to be so highly owned in GPP. Just go with the field and get different elsewhere and try and make your lineup unique doing that. But I'm almost kind of thinking, like you said, Jack, I'm almost kind of thinking just like or maybe even fade both of them and just kind of like I really like the eights. I think the nines have got some issues in there, but I really like the eights in this field this week, and the ownership at the moment projecting going to be a little bit more kind of balanced across the 8K range. So I'm thinking maybe just to attack them and pack a load of them into my lineup.
I think this is a general DFS concept, but it's specifically really relevant now to this Scottish Scheffler discussion. Just because somebody's say 50% owned doesn't mean that they're over-owned or anything. It could be that actually they're under-owned at 50%. We've definitely talked about that before. So you really have two things to do: either do what Jack's doing and fade, or you go over the top of that and you play them like 75 to 80 to 100% or whatever in your lineups. And either way, you're getting different from the field enough, as it were. You're giving yourself a chance. But, like you say, the great thing about golf, though, as opposed to lots of other DFS sports, is you can play the 50% owned Scottish Scheffler, and there's plenty of other ways to get difference. And, there's plenty of ways to leave money on the table. We see that every week, optimals and stuff are 48,400 or whatever and stuff and things like that. So that's the great thing about golf. It's what makes it probably the best DFS sport, because you've got so many different ways you can go, and they're all viable.
Where do you think he has to finish to return value at that price?
It depends on... Okay, if he's not first, it depends on who is first, doesn't it? Let's put it that way. It depends on who's above him, doesn't it? If it's a 0.0001% person, then he could be second. It doesn't matter because nobody owns the guy who won.
Right, well, let's say it's Sam Burns.
Okay, what's his ownership looking like at the moment, Sam Burns? About 18. Okay. I still think he can come second. I still think he can come second or third there because the price difference isn't enormous.
That's what I'm saying. Where do you think he needs to come? Second.
Oh, okay, definitely for the top three.
Yeah, there you go. This is what I mean.
Everybody above 11 needs to come top three.
Yeah. I know. I'm just asking you the question, like where he needs to come, like.
The other thing is the other aspect of this is because because you said about the withdrawals of Xander and Hovland.
Yep.
There's less salary. The total salaries and the whole thing are less.
Yeah.
So actually, you can build, if you take him out, you can build better lineups, for want of a better phrase, than you could do normally. Like the third player is 9-8, as it were. Normally the third player would be like 10-5 or something like that. So it is really relevant this week that if he doesn't do it, it's a lot easier to build those better lineups. If you see what I mean, get more top players in this particular tournament. So yeah, you're right. I mean, probably I think third. If he finishes third, you need somebody really low owned above him, and like ridiculous, like a Grayson Murray style winner. Otherwise, he's top one or two. Also, it depends on contest you're in as well, doesn't it? How many people are in there? What type of things they're like building and stuff. So I think
it's an interesting chat.
I'll
make the stand on it, and I will fade him. I'll play him in cash, which is fine, but I will fade him in GPPs, and I'll take my chance. If he burns me, if he wins, if he goes free on the bounce here, if he wins 3 times in 3 years, then I'll man up, and that's it.
The other thing is about this, which makes this a great chat actually, and one of those bits where you could use this for a teaching thing and stuff, is the fact that Jack, you're making this decision nothing to do with golf. It's all to do with DFS. Yeah. He's your number one golfer in your model, and but you're looking at what everybody else is doing, and how do you beat everybody else? You're not trying to predict what happens on the golf course per se, and that's a really great lesson for people to learn.
And that's the way I play DFS.
Everybody should play like
that. It can come across very aggressive the way I play. I know, like you just said there, Mark. If I was playing the 20 max, I would completely fade him, and I know you wouldn't do that, but that's the way I would.
I'd go the other way. I would fade him or go the other way. In this case, I'm going the other way.
Yeah.
No, you remember, I play 5 goalkeepers. I'm happy to take a risk or two.
I know fading Scheffler this week is going to make a lineup quite unique because of his ownership anyway. But I know that in previous weeks, Jack, there's been points where you've completely faded like a specific bracket. With you fading Scheffler, Are you doing that, or are you pretty much straight into the nines after that? Because I looked at the nines and I was like, a lot of the names that are in there, talent, yes, but I didn't like a lot of what I saw.
I like probably one guy in the nines, and this is an eye test, and I think he's playing very well at the minute, and I think he can win the tournament. It's Sam Burns. That's why I
Yeah.
mentioned Sam Burns a minute ago. He's the one that I like out the most. You know, he's been pretty decent form as well. He was T6 here last year. Um, sorry, the model's been a bit funny there. Where is he? There you go. He's sort of middle of the pack on everything that I'm looking at. Strokes gained approach, like he's 27th there, 22nd in strokes gained total. But this is by far like his favourite putting surface, and when he gets hot with a putt, Sam Burns, he really like he can really like light up a tournament when he gets hot with a putt. We've seen it. Another, I wouldn't call it a comp course, but Valspar is very similar to this place, and Sam Burns went back to back at Valspar in 2021 and 2022. So I think he's a risky play. I wouldn't be playing him in cash because he certainly has miscut equity, but I think he's coming into the event in pretty good form. He had a good week at Pebble last week, played well there. And like I say, I think he has the winning upside, and I'm quite confident that he could get over the line. He's not like recent finishes. Like, let's not forget, he should have won at the American Express. He should have won that. He stuck the ball in the water on the 17th hole, and then he was 10th at Pebble Beach last week. Who knows where he would have finished if we've got the fourth round. But he's been in pretty decent form. He hasn't missed a cut. He's made 7 of his last 8. He's made 7 cuts from his last 8 events. The missed cut come at the Open Championship. I'm not overly worried about a missed cut at the Open Championship for Sam Burns. So he's the one that's sort of popping up at the page at me at the minute, and probably the one that I'm gonna go to. He won't be a part of my core, but as I say, I want to build like a middle core for the newsletter, and I want people to be able to do what they want. If they want to go up to Sheffield, they can get to him. If they want to get to Justin Thomas, they can get to it. But yes, Sam Burns the one I like for GPPs. I do really think Justin Thomas will win this tournament, though. I think he's due a win. But he's going to be very, very high owned, and it's the same principles that with Sheffield. I'm just going to fade both of them.
Yeah, fair. Anything that you're thinking, Mark, in terms of making your lineup unique?
Well, as I said, I'm playing Scotty, I'm playing JT, but I'm above the field on them both, and I'm not playing them together. And therefore, I think quite a large proportion of those lineups are going to be the two of them together. Especially with some of the, if you look at some of the sort of the top of the bottom of the 7s and top of the 6s, there's some names have been getting quite a lot of steam and stuff. So, yeah, I've got a pretty rounded pool this week. Funny enough, actually really annoyingly, because people who play Scotty and JT together are going to end up in this range. 4 of my top 7 golfers are in the low 7s, which is annoying me.
I was going to say, Mark, should we talk about the golfers that are quickly do it for a couple of minutes, that are getting the steam in them 7K range, the ones down in that bottom of it?
Yeah.
Which is, I know Van Rooyen he's getting a lot of steam.
Yeah, and he ranks really annoyingly. He ranks really highly in my model. I'd like my players to not get steam, but that's happening for a reason, isn't it? Kitayama's getting a lot of steam. I'm not playing him.
Mark Hubbard as well. Seen Mark Hubbard.
I like Mark Hubbard though. He's treated me well in showdown streets recently. He's in very good form.
Yeah,
and
he's
got the prize bump this week.
Yeah, yeah, prize bump to 7-4. Yeah, so initially, when you look at those, when these came out, I was like, this is great. I've got these really good, cheap players and naturally, players down there are lower owned than the top. Then the guys drop out. Everybody's talking about these double lineups with Scotty and JT, and suddenly everybody's down there, picking from that same range, which frustrates me a lot.
So really, if you could probably avoid the lower 7K range and get into the sort of higher 7K range, you kind of the balance build might be the way to go this week
Mm.
to get you away from ownership in GPP. To get up into the high 7K range. I mean, there's a few guys there that. I mean, Dietrich's been playing really well. I don't know what his ownership's looking at like at the minute, but he's been playing pretty well. Who else up here? Putnam's another one. Bartia. I think Bartia's probably getting some steam though, even though he's never seen this golf course before. Siwoo Kim, he does well on TPC golf courses. Noren's another one I like. Hadwin in the 8K range. There's a few guys that I'd quite happily use up the top there. Yeah, I'm kind of with you, Mark. I need to get away from that ownership at the top, and I think I'm staying well clear of it in them low 7K range because they can easily miss the cut down there.
You won't end up with the 7K, so naturally, by the fact you're not playing those guys,
Exactly.
so you end up in the eights, sort of the eights and stuff, which I think the eights are looking pretty decent from an ownership point of view, really.
Adam Scott's probably my favourite in the 8K range. He ranks third in my model this week. I really do like Adam Scott. He's been in really.
He's
good
second
form
for me as well.
Yeah, he's been in really good form, and again, another person who has the winning upside. He doesn't normally play these events. The first event that he normally turns up for at PGA is Riviera next week, but he's started to play a few of the earlier ones this time out. So yeah, he's someone I like in the 8K range. Ricky Fowler's got very good course history here. Not someone I really like, but he has got very good course history here, as has Matsuyama.
Yeah, Fowler's one of the names where I don't like what I've seen recently from Ricky Fowler.
No, I agree. I won't play it.
He's definitely there. As is
I
like with Matsuyama, that the course history is definitely there with him as well.
I'd play him over Ricky Fowler, Matsuyama. I think he's in better form than Ricky Fowler.
Yeah, definitely. I think I'm back on Min Woo Lee again this week, I think.
Oh, I don't like this golf course from Min Woo Lee.
Oh, he's a pure ball striker, Jack.
You say that. Have you seen his approach numbers? Have you seen where he ranks in the approach over the last 36 rounds? It's 36 rounds.
I'm looking at recent stuff though.
I will tell you. So, the field of 133, Min Woo Lee ranks 124th in strokes gained approach. Dark red. Very good strokes gained total and off the tee, but approach is not good.
I just think like the form is there though. Like prior to his last two PGA events, where yes, he did lose strokes on approach. Still good off the tee. Ball striking was still there. Still gained strokes tee to green. And then prior to that, he came first at the Australian PGA and had a third at the Australian Open. I'm just going form, and I know what his game is, and I'm just going to cross my fingers.
I just wanted to let you play him in the post league.
Oh, I'm doing it. I'm going to do it.
I have him as actually a great showdown play, Min Woo Lee, rather than a tournament play.
Yeah, but there's quite a few in this 8K range that I quite like. JT Postard's played really good golf recently. Benny Ann. Tom Kim, I don't mind either. Eric Cole seems to be getting quite a bit of attention as well. Yeah, it's a good range, and I think that's where I'll be.
Yeah, you could definitely build you could definitely get 4 or 5 of those guys in and be pretty happy, I think. By the way, Jack, just another thing quickly. Going back to Scotty Scheffler again. Fading him in cash though. Okay, it's it's 133 field and it's a 65 cut and everything. You're only going to need 4 out of 6 probably, if not 3. You might even get away with 3 if they're 3 good ones. Depends on and potentially fading Scotty in cash might be the play.
No, he's a lock for me in cash. Sorry.
No, fair enough. The theory, the maths works though.
I think I'm going to lock him and JT in for cash. I'm afraid. So.
I got formulas to tell you that's a bad idea.
That's fine. I trust what I've got in front of me as well. Don't worry.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Right, fellas, we'll round out the 45 minutes. I saw a post from someone today saying the optimum podcast length is 40 to 45 minutes. So we're right on the limit there with that. Anything to add, Mark, first of all?
No, just really glad we're back to a proper cut, etc. I really hope we get a proper tournament. I hope the weather doesn't disrupt it too much, because that's really, that's what you want, isn't it?
Absolutely. Jack, anything from you?
No, the newsletter will be out in about half hour or so. And yeah, head on over to Fantasy National Golf Club to see the season-long planner. And best of luck to everyone in their one and dones, their season-long fantasy, their best balls, and the continuation of the Bet365 fan team season-long game.
Nice. You can find us on the X at _SMRF, at JH4Do Media, and at Nick of Wigan. And we will see you at the normal time next Tuesday.